So where do the two sides go from here? Tonight's Legal Eagles are here to weigh in. Former Deputy Assistant Attorney General John Yoo and former committee counsel to Senator Patty Murray, Dave Brown. Gentlemen, welcome to you both.
Good evening, Shannon.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's talk through a little bit of this. Senator Grassley today, in a letter to the Democrats on the committee, said this. He said they have interviewed Judge Kavanaugh. He didn't hesitate. He's been forthright. He knew it was under a penalty, a felony penalty, if he was lying. We invited the minority staff to participate and asked Judge Kavanaugh its own questions, but the minority staff declined. The majority staff has also sought to set up interviews with Dr. Ford, Mark Judge, and two other alleged witnesses. The minority staff is welcome to participate in the investigative process as well, but it has thus far declined. Dave, does that hurt their case if they don't join in this process?
Well, I think what it illustrates is that we're rushing to the finish line when really we need to be taking a step back and conducting a thorough, independent investigation. And you've heard now from every member every Democratic member of the Senate Judiciary Committee calling for the White House to request that the FBI reopen the background check on Judge Kavanaugh and assess the allegations that have been brought forward as part of the background check. It's exactly what was done during the confirmation process for then Judge Clarence Thomas, and it's what should be done in this instance as well. And the reason being, Shannon, and I'm speaking as a former committee counsel, albeit not the Judiciary Committee, but with as much respect to my former colleagues, we're not equipped. We're not trained to conduct the kind of forensic investigations, to depose witnesses, to really build a case in the same way that the FBI is. And so if the Senate is legitimately interested in conducting a thorough, fair, and impartial investigation to get to the truth, either to conclude that Dr. Ford is telling the truth or to clear Judge Kavanaugh's name, that's the way forward.
Let me get John in here. John, I mean, to my understanding, there are investigators on staff to do this very thing. And the FBI has repeatedly said, at least publicly, they don't go out and do criminal investigations on something that happened 36 years ago. They wouldn't have jurisdiction, and this is not what they do, that this is what the Senate committee, Democrats and Republicans, should be doing.
Well, Shannon, I was general counsel of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and there is a routine procedure for exactly this kind of case. There are people who always might raise doubts, come in with different questions as a nomination is nearing its consideration by the Senate. And so we do have investigators. There are investigators on staff whose job it is to run down accusations or questions about people and their background files.
Let me ask you about this then.
Lawyers on the staff.
Okay, let me ask you about this then, because this is what the ranking member, Dianne Feinstein, she's a senator. She would know how this works, we would assume. She says this, fact check, the FBI can investigate Dr. Blasey Ford's allegations as part of its background investigation. That is their job. To say otherwise is false. It investigated Anita Hill's allegations of sexual harassment against Clarence Thomas. It should investigate this, too. So is it their job or the committee's job, John?
There's confusion about what the FBI does here. The FBI is not conducting a criminal investigation. Even if this happened yesterday, they wouldn't be conducting a criminal investigation, because if this were a crime, it would be under state jurisdiction. The FBI wouldn't have that job. In this kind of function, the FBI is just helping the Senate conduct a background investigation, which is collecting all the information about someone, maybe making determinations about the credibility of the information about them, but they're not out there trying to solve crimes. They're not conducting forensic investigations like you would with a crime. They present that information to the committee. In this case, in the Kavanaugh case, there is no forensics. This is 35 years ago. The only stories you need to hear from are from Kavanaugh and Dr. Ford, and maybe a few other witnesses, and you have to make a credibility determination by each senator about who's telling the truth, and then they take that into account when they vote on whether to give their advice and consent.
And Dave, we all know that Senators Grassley and Feinstein are good friends. They are complimentary to each other all the time, but there's a little back and forth today. This letter from Senator Grassley to Senator Feinstein says the fact is that these allegations could have been raised both within the last 7 weeks and in a way that protected Dr. Ford's anonymity. Instead, you chose to sit on the allegations until a politically opportune moment. He went on to say that he can't overstate how deeply disappointed he was, Dave.
And in senatorial language, that's a pretty stern letter. Look, I can't imagine the position that Senator Feinstein found herself in receiving this letter, a letter that requested that the author remain anonymous, confidential. I think she was in a very tough spot, and I think she's endeavored to navigate this really as her North Star being respecting Dr. Ford's wishes. So, you know, Shannon, I understand that it's inconvenient to the chairman's timing in terms of how he would like to move this nomination forward, but the fact is we have credible allegations that have now surfaced publicly because they came through the media, and we now have to address them, and we have to do so in a thoughtful and deliberate way.
Before she had her one-on-one meeting with him, Dave, she knew. She also knew during the public questioning. She also knew during the closed questioning, which she didn't show up for.
Yeah, Shannon, honestly, those are questions for Senator Feinstein. I'm not going to presume to stand in her shoes, other than to say she has said publicly she was endeavoring to respect the confidentiality and the trust that was vested in her from Dr. Ford.
We got to leave it there with two of our Senate legal eagles, Dave and John. Thank you both very much.